Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You know, when it comes to the subject of homemade MREs, there are some stores that just provide better than others. I've been in stores where I've had to fight to put one together, and then I've gone into others where I can easily find everything that I need. I've had a couple of videos lately where I have really had to work hard for it. So this time I wanted to go back to some place where I knew they would have what I needed, and I even knew a couple of the specific things that I was looking for. I wanted to do something that was simple, that anyone in this audience could probably put together themselves, because almost everyone has a Walmart in their area, at least if you're in the States. So I returned to my local Walmart on a mission to put together not only a good homemade MRE, but one that's a lot easier to use than a lot of the other ones that I've done. And with that being said, let me introduce you to the Dad Budget Adventures Homemade MRE Menu WM2. So Walmart is one of those locations for this channel that gets a lot of response. Some of it's very positive and some of it's negative. I get it that there's a lot of people out there that do not like Walmart's corporate structure, and I can respect that. The fact is that there is a Walmart near almost every city in the US. And when it comes to finding the things that you need to build meals like this, they're a great source for that. So real quick, let's cover the rules for how I build my MREs. Rule number one, everything in here must be able to be eaten straight out of the package. Doesn't mean that's how we're going to eat it, just means it needs to be able to be. Rule number two is everything in here must have at least a 1-year shelf life or best by date from the time that I buy it. That is simply to ensure that it is fresh as possible in the event that this gets packed away and I don't get around to it for a little while. And finally, rule number three is the menu. This MRE must have an entree, a side, a walking around snack, a dessert, and a beverage. And we've also talked in the past about bonus items to kind of bulk up the calories or the protein or just the general content. And I've got 1 or 2 of those in here as well. So let's dive in here and see what is in our homemade MRE from Walmart. All right, the first thing is our entree. Now I've had one of these before, but I got a different variety of it. And this was one of those items that I went back specifically to get. The main reason for that is this entree is the most like what you would find in a traditional military MRE of just about any of the other stuff that I've found. And that is these Presti plate ready raviolis. Now I had the portobello sauce raviolis once before and those were quite good. This is the tomato basil variety. So we're gonna be trying a whole different flavor. These are really great because they come in a little retort pouch. You can just heat it up in the pouch that it's in. Or if you don't wanna take the time to heat it, you can just unzip this thing and eat it straight out of the pack. But I'm gonna throw these in our little trucker's lunchbox back here and get it started while we go through the rest of the items in this kit. I've had that preheating for a little while because it does tend to take a little while to cook things, so I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time just sitting around waiting on it. The next item is our side, and for this one, I went with something that doesn't necessarily go directly with the entree. You know, a lot of times I'll get rice or pasta or something like that to go with it, but this time I went a different route, and I picked up one of the bulk packages of these Cheez-It Extra Toasty Crackers. I was hoping to find some kind of a cheese-related item to go with this. A lot of what I was finding didn't have a good expiration date on it. I have not tried the extra toasty variety yet, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I love Cheez-It crackers, and I've had a couple of their other flavor varieties, so I'm interested in trying and seeing what extra toasty ends up being like. But I do think that these will be a perfect accompaniment for that ravioli. Next up, we have our walking around snack, and for that, I'm throwing in 2 of these 100-calorie packs of emerald nuts. This is the walnuts, almonds, and dried cherries variety, and that sounds right up my alley. I decided to put 2 packs in here because if you're out and you're being active, you're gonna need more calories. And so while most of us really could benefit from limiting ourselves to a single pack and just 100 calories, you have that option in the event that you need that calorie boost. As our dessert, I wanted to try these things. I came across them recently and I wasn't really familiar with them, but I got one of the Mr. Beast Feastables chocolate bars. This is the peanut butter crunch variety, and if you're at all familiar with Mr. Beast, he's a YouTuber that has had a whole lot of success and apparently now has put his name on candy bars. I guess this is how you know you have made it, when you have a candy bar named after you. I haven't tried any of the Mr. Beast products, so we're gonna see if this is hype or if it's actually a decent treat. Next up, we have our beverage. When I came across these at Walmart, it was so unusual to be sold like this that I had to grab these and try it. I picked up one of these Land O'Lakes cocoa packs. They sell these as individual packs. You don't have to buy a big box of them to get this. This is the caramel flavored hot chocolate mix, and I'm looking forward to trying that out. I bet that's going to be super good. So we got one other little bonus item in here. This is an item that I found is easy to pack away and super versatile, and that is these little packs of applesauce. These just have a little twist top that you pop off, squeeze it directly in your mouth. You don't have to mess up any dishes or anything in order to eat it. You've got a few extra calories, a little bit of extra sugar. This is the cinnamon varieties, so it's got a little extra flavor to it. And if you've got kids with you, you can't beat these in your homemade MRE. All right, so that's everything that's in this MRE. I need to get some hot water so I can get that cocoa going, and we're gonna start trying these things out. And of course, to make our cocoa, we have our official Dad Budget Adventures bling mug. Let's tear this pack open and see how this Land of Lakes caramel hot chocolate is. Ooh, that smells really nice. Got a nice rich caramel smell to it. More so than the chocolate even. I'm picking up more of the caramel than I am the chocolate in here. It mixes very easily. It's not clumpy. Just mixes right in. All right, so let's set this aside, try some of this other stuff, and then we'll get around to that in a second. First off, we're gonna try these Cheez-It crackers, these extra toasty. I have a feeling these are gonna be really good. So these are all busted up for some reason. These came in a bulk box. The box wasn't damaged, but the crackers are really crushed up. I'm gonna try to get a whole one in here. There we go, there's one that's intact. See, they got little burnt edges on them. A little bit deliberately overcooked so we can get that extra toasty. They smell just like regular Cheez-It. I'm not picking up on any kind of a burn smell or a toast smell, so let's hope they taste a little bit better then. All right, let's give this a go. All right, so have you ever had the homemade cheese crackers that you can make by just taking shredded cheese, putting it on a pan, putting it in the oven, letting the edges burn just a little bit as the cheese melts and dries into a crisp? It's kind of what these taste like. It's got that taste kind of like the cheese on the edge of your pizza crust, you know, those little strands of it that get a little toasty on there. That's what that tastes like. Yeah, those are good. It takes Cheez-It and just gives it a little extra kick. Just another layer of flavor on top of what you're already used to. I think I could very easily stand here and eat this bag, but I'm not gonna bore you with that. Let's move on to something else. Let's try out our hot cocoa, the Land O'Lakes caramel hot cocoa. Let's see how this is. This smells really nice. It's got a very smooth caramel smell to it. Dude, that's really, really nice. It's very sweet, but it's very smooth. Very creamy kind of texture and taste to it. The caramel flavor is dominant. The chocolate is more of like an afterthought. That caramel is very rich and very strong in there. That's pretty tasty right there. I think that might be nice with a little adult beverage added into it. Nice for a little late night sit around the fire kind of drink. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, let's try these Emerald 100-calorie packed walnuts, almonds, and dried cherries. Some of my favorite things all in one pack. It's really almost no smell coming out of here. It's a little odd, but you know, walnuts don't have a really strong smell, and cherries are dried out, and almonds don't really have a smell unless you crush them. So let's get a handful out here. You can kind of see what we've got. It's a good variety. Some cherries, you see the walnuts, got an almond there. There's another one right there that's waiting to come out, but he's fighting me. All right, let's give these a try. See how this is. That's a good, tasty mix. These 100-calorie packs, there's not a lot here. I mean, y'all saw the bite I just took, and that's what's left. It's a good thing I put 2 in here because I feel like one might just make me mad. Cheers. So not much to them, but they're good. They're very good. If you get something like that, I definitely recommend packing 2. All right, let's give our Great Value Cinnamon Applesauce a try. Great Value, of course, being the Walmart store brand. I have found that I like the Great Value brand of products quite a bit. It's surprising how good some of them are, and there might even be some that I like better than national brands. But these things are super easy to use. Downside is you got to dispose of them because this is 100% just stuff you got to throw away. So let's give this a try. Just typical applesauce smell, nothing special. All right, let's give it a shot. That's good stuff. It very much has a fresh apple taste. It doesn't taste like they picked the bad fruit and threw it in there for this. I've had some before where you could kind of tell it was bottom of the barrel fruit they were using, and that may be the case with this product, but this has a good flavor to it. It does not have that old expired fruit taste to it. That's actually really good stuff. I'm glad I got that other pack of the nuts in here because I've still had a little bit of that in my mouth when I started eating that applesauce, and it made me want to do this. That combination right there, that's a treat in itself. Let's do it again. There's nothing to hate about that. I do like that. That's good stuff. And you know, oddly enough, that's a pretty good chaser for that too. Caramel and apples just kind of go hand in hand. One of my favorite treats, if you're ever visiting a town like Gatlinburg, is the caramel apples that are dipped in chocolate and covered in pecans. Oh, those things are absolutely decadent. That's what this combination kind of reminds me of. Only this costs a whole lot less than those apples. Grab a couple more of these Cheez-It crackers and see how busted up these things are. That's like the entire bag is like that. Let's get in here and try this ravioli. I'm really anxious to try this. The other one was pretty good, so I'm hoping this is going to be too, because if that's the case, and there's a couple of really good viable options for a very simple MRE. Ooh, they got hot. Once the little trucker's lunchbox gets going, it's a very efficient cooker. And the great thing about it is it distributes the heat very well inside the cooking well here, especially if you put water in there. When we were on our trip to Texas recently, we went to HEB and we picked up some of these pre-made meals. One of the things that I got was this macaroni and cheese with brisket. It was already prepared, came in a little aluminum foil tin, and we were getting ready to go over to the event that we were there for just a little while. So I took that tin and I dropped it in the trucker's lunchbox, closed it up, turned it on, left, and in about an hour and a half, we came back and it was perfectly cooked. It was a little too hot to eat, but it turned out great. It didn't burn on any surfaces. It was just right. So the great thing about it is it's kind of like a little crock pot. You can set it and forget it, walk away, come back a little while later, you got your food waiting on you. All right, let's open this up and see if these Presti raviolis are any good. It looks delicious in here. It smells good. It's got a little bit of a sharpness to it. The tomato sauce smells very acidic. It's got a great aroma spectrum to it. It smells quite delicious. So let's get in here and have a look at what we have. There it is. They're little mini raviolis in a tomato sauce. Let's give this a try, see what we've got. Of course, the pasta is overdone, as can be expected. When you have pre-cooked foods like pasta, they always tend to be overdone. You just kind of have to manage expectations with that. But it's not terrible. I will say that the vegetables in the sauce are very chunky. I could feel the texture of the vegetables in my teeth as I was chewing that bite. It's not just a pureed down goopy liquid. This actually has chunks of vegetables in it. Kind of see a little bit of it there maybe on the edge of the fork. All right. It's a good ravioli. It doesn't taste like Chef Boyardee or your typical canned raviolis. It has a much better flavor to it. If they could find a way to make this pasta a little more al dente, they'd have something with this. But that flavor, the more bites I get, the more I really enjoy the flavor of this. This is really good stuff. I would absolutely go back for these. And speaking of going for things, why don't you go over to Instagram and find me over there. Follow me on Instagram because I share things over there that I don't share here on the YouTube, especially things like if I'm going to be going someplace where you might get a chance to come and do a little meet and greet. Also, go find me over on TikTok. Until they take it down, I'll be over there. This is surprisingly good. It really is. It could be that I'm very hungry, but it's still really good. Get a couple more of these crackers. Now, if you like a little bit of cheese topping or something like that with these kind of items, you can pack those little Parmesan cheese packs that you get when you order a pizza. You can toss in some red chili flake packs and you can kick this thing up to your preference. Or we can do this. I'm sure somebody out there has been waiting for me to do this. And while I'm creating this monstrosity, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that notification bell so you can be made aware of all upcoming videos. And thank you to all of my subscribers who have been helping this channel to grow like crazy. Also, keep your ideas for locations where I can go and build homemade MREs coming in. Those have been so helpful, especially with finding places like HEB. You know, places I have no idea even exist because they're outside of my area. All right, here we go. Let's try this, the Presti raviolis with some toasty Cheez-It. That ain't half bad. Would be better with wisps crushed up in here, but geez, it's not bad. Look, I made a happy plate, or happy pouch. That's how good that stuff was. I just sat here and ate this entire thing. Usually I'll eat part of it, and then after I'm done with the video, I'll go back in the kitchen and finish the rest of it, but this needed to go now. Let's flush that out a little bit. And lastly, we have our Mr. Beast Feastable candy bar. This is the peanut butter crunch bar. And once again, keep in mind that these MREs are not meant to be copied exactly. If you're planning on putting one of these together to go someplace where you're going to be out in hot weather, chocolate is not the way to go with that. Find something else to throw in there for your desserts. We're just trying these because I found them at Walmart and it sounded like something I wanted to try. Now, opening this up, there's just a little bit of blooming across here, which is a little scary because this thing's supposed to be good at least for the next year. But that's one of the things that I talk about when it comes to things like expiration dates or best by dates or whatever. Different things are going to deteriorate at different rates, and a lot of it depends on how it was stored. So if the Walmart warehouse had a power outage and lost air conditioning for a few days, that's going to contribute to how fast things are going to deteriorate, especially when it comes to things that are designed with a limited shelf life, that are designed to be sold and consumed fresh. So before you come at me with your comments about how Best By dates are a scam by the food industry, understand there is some substance to it. Go put your foil hat on and sit in the corner. Let's give the Mr. Beast bar a try. See if Mr. Beast has put his name on a satisfactory product. I've got mixed feelings about this. One, it's extremely soft. And while I do understand we're still dealing with some air conditioning issues at the house, tech's coming out today, that's why I'm here at the moment. It's not that hot here that this bar should be melting like this. So keep that in mind with these. The other thing is the flavor's okay at best. It's not spectacular. If somebody sent me this, I don't know that I would put my name on it. I'd probably tell them go back to the drawing board, come back with something a little bit better. It's not terrible, but I would not buy this over, say, a Snickers bar or a Reese's peanut butter cup. I'm not going to go out of my way to get this, and it's a relatively small bar for the price. I know you put Mr. Beast's name on stuff, all of a sudden you can start charging more money for it because it's cooler that way. But yeah, it's just okay. Wash it down with some good chocolate. All right, everybody, that is it for our homemade MRE from Walmart, menu WM2. I hope you enjoyed that. While not everything in there was a hit out of the park, some of it was really good. So next time you're at Walmart and you come across this stuff, remember this video, grab you some of that, throw it in your kits. Come back around next week. I've got another cool video from your suggestions. Went on a road trip this past weekend and popped into one of the places that a bunch of y'all keep telling me I need to go to. If you've got an idea where it is, drop a comment down below and tell me where you think it is, and then we'll see next week if you're right. And until then, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. See you around.